Before we begin, in the spirit of reconciliation and respect, the InkGuild acknowledges that we live, work, and play on the traditional Treaty 7 territory of the Blackfoot Confederacy, the Siksika, the Kainai, and the Piikani nations, as well as the Stoney Nakoda and the Tsuut'ina nations. This territory is also home to the Métis Nation of Alberta, Region 3, within the historical Northwest Métis homeland. Finally, we acknowledge all Indigenous and non-Indigenous to honor and celebrate this territory alongside us.
You need a script. You didn't have a script prepared?
I don't script anything. I think I just kind of go for it, and I hope for the best. That's the way that I've always done things. That's the way my father taught me. In growing up as a lad in Russia.
You know what? Just start recording. Let's just
start recording now. Just get your dancing monkey on camera while God will allow you.
I mean, that's how a lot of the podcast episode happens. That's like how a lot of them start. So
it sure is.
Hello, I'm Alex with the InkGuild. My pronouns are they, them, and I'm a fantasy writer.
Hi, my name's Marie-Soleil. My pronouns are she, her. I'm a writer with the InkGuild. I'm a creative writer, mostly fiction, but I'm branching out into horror and sci-fi lately.
Hi, my name's Tyler Dunbar. I'm a member of the InkGuild podcast based out of Canada. My pronouns are he, him for now, and yeah, I'm a writer.
Hey, my name is Gabriel Zia. My pronouns are he, him. I'm a writer. I'm a writer. I'm a member of the InkGuild. You could say I'm its true star, and I'm a horror science fiction author.
Hello, everybody. My name is Dean. We are the InkGuild, and we have a story to share with you. What makes modern creative storytelling so engaging for many people are the limitless ways that a story begins. Between movies, TV, anime, video games, and books, not one story ever starts the same. And for the Guild, we've each found our way into the creative writing craft on our own terms.
I've been writing for basically as long as I can remember. I remember being a very young child and coming up with story ideas, even before I knew how to read or write. And I would draw out novel covers in my bedroom and be like, I'm gonna write a novel about this, and this is what the cover is.
My mother always had a saying. It's if you didn't like something or you were missing something, you should go out and do it yourself. If I didn't like the music that was currently being listened to, I should make my own. If I didn't like the stories I was reading, I should make my own. And I've taken that to heart because I don't not have hobbies, as we all know.
So yeah, I grew up in a small town, and I always loved reading books. Both my parents loved to read, my older sisters loved to read, and I just fell into the habit as well, going to the library after school and everything. As you can tell, I have a lot of books. And writing was just a natural progression for me from reading. And I started writing, I think the first story I started writing was about a princess who was running away from home because she didn't want to marry a prince.
I've sort of been writing here and there since I was a wee lad. But it kind of got kickstarted in high school. So I was more into movies at that point in time. I was kind of a film geek, and then in high school, I met up with this one guy who ended up being like my best friend throughout high school.
It was more of the later, it was fun to write it, but the story didn't go anywhere. There was no plot to it. It was a story, but there's no plot. And so I just kept writing different things and trying out different types of stories and experimenting with how I was writing. And Eventually, like in high school is when I really got serious to writing stories.
I think I started trying to seriously write my first novel when I was like 11 or 12. I was fresh off reading the Twilight series for the first time. I was obsessed with vampires, and I was like, I'm gonna write a vampire story. So I started plotting it out, and started writing it. I don't think I got very far. I think I got like 6 to 8 chapters in before I ended up putting it down. When I was in high school, I was introduced to NaNoWriMo, National Novel Writing Month, which is in November. Tried writing a novel in grade 9, did not go well, but the next year I did manage to complete it. And yeah, I guess from there I never looked back.
It would just be a thing where throughout the semesters of high school we would just make these student films that we never published or released in any capacity, but we just made a whole bunch of them. They were experimental, and he would do a lot of the directing and I would do a lot of the writing. And then at some point around the end of high school, I figured, like, hey, I really like this writing thing. I think I should do this more, maybe outside the scope of script writing. So I started just writing regular old stories, and then I kept doing that for a little bit until like my first year of university, when I started taking creative writing, and I just got some good notes from my professor, and I realized, hey, I really like this, and apparently I'm good at it. So I'm just gonna keep doing this.
My true creative writing started in high school, and maybe a little bit before. I've got 1,000 partially made manuscripts and first drafts tucked away somewhere, and a big folder on my computer full of them that have been since, probably 2005, 2006, some of my earliest things. They're all terrible. Egregiously egotistical fan insert or self-insert. It was usually someone who was basically me going through some ungodly power trip unnecessarily. I eventually got a lot more refined, thankfully. It was after I started finally reading like the later Harry Potter books that I suppose I refined a bit more as a writer, and everyone knows how dark the later books get. That's also how I started to do a bit of dark fantasy.
In our respective careers, the early support from friends and loved ones was crucial, just as important as the criticism from an editor.
I think my fascination with horror kind of began with my mom, because my mom was a big, she's not a big horror fan, but she's a big science fiction fan. So I grew up with the movies Terminator 2 and Aliens, just on a constant loop. Oh, and Kill Bill Volume 1, just on a constant loop in my household. So, growing up, my visual sensors were basically flooded with lots of violence and carnage, and Michael Biehn swearing at robots and or aliens. When I started getting into writing, she was very supportive of that. Like she was very much like a fan of the fact that I was into writing, because she'd always wanted to be a writer, but like she just couldn't do it. I think it's like just sort of I don't know. She says it's just like a thing that it's not like something that you can sort of like brute force your way into being able to write a story. You sort of have to just like have something in your brain that lets you do that, and so yeah, she was very supportive from a young age when I started getting into that kind of stuff.
Well, my mom, I would have ideas since God knows when, and she would sit and listen to me ramble about every single one and offer her little critiques, and wow, that's great, honey. And that sort of supportiveness really helped me get off the ground. She was not a very critical critiquer. She was never one to shut any of my ideas down. And after that, I was always showing drafts to friends in high school and things like that. More recently, the InkGuild has been my biggest work of support, and obviously my girlfriend, she hears all of my ideas and is a big part of my bouncing board. Even if she doesn't want to be, she doesn't get a choice.
Support systems, my parents were very supportive. Like my mom always bought me so many notebooks whenever I asked Tyler. I have a dresser in our hobby room full of notebooks and binders. I remember like my dad, he was like my hardest critic. I literally remember showing him some of my writing and he was like, this is not good. And then later on showing him different writing. He's like, you wrote this? This is really good. And just like that, the acknowledgement of my growth from him was really awesome. It wasn't the whole, like, you know how your parents always tell you, you're doing a great job, you're doing awesome. It was, no, you can do better than this. I want to see you do better than this.
My mom's definitely been a big support for me as well. She always encouraged me to do what I liked. She'll always like listen to me talk about stuff, and like you know like the whole writer thing where you have a problem, so you start talking to someone, and as you talk through it, you solve it. She's always been like good for that for me. She's always supported me like 100% with my decisions and encouraged me to follow my dreams, I guess. I've also had some really good teachers throughout school. I remember my 3rd grade language arts teacher was very good. Encouraged me to like read the things that I wanted, encouraged me to write. My 4th grade English teacher as well introduced me to a lot of new things that I hadn't really been exposed to before. Such like he got me into things like Shakespeare and some more classical stuff that ended up being like a huge influence on me. And then a couple of teachers throughout high school as well, like the one that introduced me to NaNoWriMo and a few others that have just always... I remember I took like a creative writing class with her when I was in my last year of high school, where the goal at the end of the class was to get whatever you'd written that term published. And I had not managed to do that by the end of the term, but she just kind of like pulled me aside and was like, I know you'll get there. So that was very encouraging.
"2020 for each of us meant new classes, new friends, and new opportunities for us to showcase our writing and creativity. However, in March of that year, the world locked down, classes moved online, and for everyone's safety, we needed to stay inside. As unfortunate as the situation was, the Guild found a way to connect and stay close through Discord.
I'm having a stroke. Big, smart money boys tapping on their keyboards. A burrito that's just sour cream and the Red Hot Chili Boys.
Red Hot Chili Boys.
Red Hot Chili
Red Hot Chili Boys.
Okay, you have to go to bed.
The Red Hot Chili Boys.
Listen, I'm tired. I got confused. Leave me alone.
What are you fucking moonwalking?
I'm hosting a barbecue for the 4th of July this weekend.
I thought it was cool, because I'd been in a couple of these writing classes before, and I had made friends in them, and like, I knew some of the guys from them, and I knew some of the people from those classes. I knew them fairly well. And then when this class started a Discord channel, I was like, okay, cool, great. This will be like a good way to like keep this going outside of the class. I don't really know any of these people, so this will be a much easier way to just like have the writing work. I think I just wanted to hang out with y'all. I thought like, wow, these guys seem like really cool people. I'd be down to hang out with them. That was basically what I was thinking when like sort of the Discord started, and I was. I was pretty impressed by like how most people seem to like just sort of stick to it. Like I've been in Discord servers all the time, and most of the Discord servers I'm in, there's like 3, maybe 4 like really active participants. And in this channel, it feels like almost everyone who's in the channel is at least on some level an active participant with the primordial soup of our little mini online community.
When the winter 2020 semester ended and the Guild was faced with a lonely summer, the InkGuild podcast was created, a platform for us to share our stories with the world within the comfort of our own home. Bigger than a city.
It's more than one planet.
Percy Jackson is Greek mythology fanfiction.
Boneless. Oh my god.
I want no.
Yeah, I never done a podcast before, but I'd watched a ton of podcasts, and like I'd watched a bunch of podcasts. And I'm an avid fan of Duncan Trussell and his podcasts. So I was pretty excited to do it. Like I'd always thought it just seemed like a very chill, sort of like let's get together and for 2 hours just ramble about nonsense. And we have I feel like we have a very organized nonsense, thanks to a fascistic host.
Well, my first thought, I think, was something about, it's lockdown, everyone's starting a podcast. Because that was like a meme on the internet at the time, I think. So I wasn't really sure if it was gonna go anywhere. But you guys did like the first episode, I think, and I was kind of like, this could be something. This could be fun. So I decided to give it a try. So I joined in. I think I was really nervous about it, just because this was like a lot about me that I was sharing with a lot of people that I didn't necessarily know as well as I do now. But again, my writing is something I'm passionate about, and I've been passionate about for a long time. And world building is something that I've always super enjoyed. And I mean, in that same winter semester, I had taken a class about world building specifically, and so I felt like I was coming into it with like maybe a little bit of knowledge on that topic, and I was excited to like share it and get people's perspectives on it and that kind of stuff.
Oh, I thought it was a fantastic idea. I thought, why haven't I thought of something like this before? Like, I knew there have been communities of writers and artists online for a long time. The internet's a fantastic medium for that. But I thought it was composed of things like subreddits and smaller email chains. I'd never thought of using Discord or a Facebook group or something like that to, share work with other people and create a community with other people around these things. And I was like, that's a pretty good idea. Stewed on it for a little bit and was like, hey babe, can I get in? And then you heard from me. I thought it was a fantastic group and had a really fun time. I was nervous, no word of a lie. I like to think of myself as a performer and an entertainer, but I still get the shakes once in a while. But no, you got something good here. I like it.
I thought it was really cool. I was a little nervous joining it, because I felt like I was joining it late, and I was thinking in my head, should I even have joined it? Should I have just because I missed the first episodes? Should I just be yeah, no, goodbye, or what? But I'm really happy that I actually did join it. It's been a lot of fun. When I first debuted, and you were asking me questions similar to what we're doing right now to introduce myself and everything, I kept wondering, is this the right answer? Am I answering the question right? Am I answering the question that Dean is actually asking me? Or did I misinterpret the question and I'm just saying something completely random? I've always been kind of a shy person and kind of worried about not fitting in with people, but I wanted to make that group of friends that you meet at in class and you're friends with for years afterwards. I wanted to make those connections, and I knew I needed to step out of my comfort zone to do that. So I had to reach out and be like, hey, I'm going to do this.
The first episode was uploaded on May 3rd, and since then, after 5 seasons so far and dozens of different topics, the podcast serves as a showcase of our genuine, growing friendship above all else.
Speaking of being not okay, the guildmaster has left, and I think we should all riot while he's still recording and leave him some fun when he goes to edit it. Who wants to sing The Lion Sleeps Tonight really quickly? It'll leave him a little surprise. The lion sleeps tonight.
Someone's
Jessica, the floor is yours. Come on.
Jessica, go. No. I'm not the host.
so-
This isn't a podcast anymore. It's literally just friends talking
This
about the
isn't
fucking
Dean's
show.
show. We're hijacking it. Fuck you. Mute me.
We've been scripting these behind your back, Dean. Sorry we didn't let you know.
What the fuck?
Dean, I hate
None of you seen that? I didn't make that up.
No.
For the record. This is a
Teaching
thing. I swear I'm not just being weird.
Alex, Gabe, we've spent too much time together. Fuck.
And dinosaurs are basically just boneless dragons. So,
Boneless? Hold on, boneless dragons?
you know what I mean. You know what I
No, I don't know what you mean.
No, what the
Explain.
fuck are you talking about?
Dragons?
boneless dragons.
I need my throat to be clean and clear.
I know that throat ain't clean, Gabe. Anyways, what it's done is it's inspired quite a bit more drive and motivation. Like being able to see other, and I'm going to use the term amateur writers in their process, has helped me understand where my own process lies quite a bit and caused quite a bit of self-reflection, as well as it's great to have people to talk to about it and keep me honest, to keep me going and pushing. I'm notorious for starting projects and leaving them behind. I do it all the damn time. And having a group that I'm dedicated to being a part of, with people that I know will ask questions about my work eventually, keeps me honest in keeping going and keeping the drive up. And I really like that. As well as, again, seeing where other people are at, it helps me gauge where I'm at, know that I still need improvement and I still need a long way to go. And as someone who is not naturally a humble person, it definitely helps to have that perspective. I'll say it's made me better. I get, and a lot of it for me is perspective, right? I'm very narrow and niche in my interests in my sets. I live under a bit of a cultural rock sometimes, and being able to see and hear, and even the episodes I'm not a part of, teach me a lot more of other genres that I don't particularly read, of other styles that I've never been a part of. It's helped me grow, and I even see it in my current writing piece that I'm working on in sci-fi. I see my characters are becoming way more real, also way less grim, which, am I sure if this is a good thing? Could not tell you, but my characters, I feel, are a lot more fully actualized, if we're getting into specifics, just from being able to, interact with a community of amateur writers like myself. Maybe we'll all become professional someday, and then I can use the word professional there, but we'll see.
I feel like my opinion on the InkGuild, I don't know how much it has changed. I feel like it is very chill, very comfortable, sort of a community of writers where we're creative people, we're getting together, we're talking about our writing, it's an online network of buddies and colleagues. It's kind of cool that we have this going. That's basically how I've thought about it. Like it's a very interesting, like, sort of network of comrades, you could say.
I feel like I've definitely grown as a writer. I feel like having like people to collaborate with is definitely like a very important part of being a writer. Someone to talk with, someone to like, or more than one person ideally, which we have, to like talk with, to bounce ideas off of, to like, point out the little things, because every writer has stuff that they're going to struggle with, and it's always good to find someone that can like point out your weaknesses and help you build them and grow them, and I feel like we definitely have that. So I definitely feel like that's definitely helped me grow as a writer. How many times can I say definitely in one sentence? But yeah, I do think it's helped me grow as a writer, and I think I've been able to help other people grow as writers as well, which is, again, something that I think is very important. I do think it was just kind of everything slowly coming together. Like, you know, adding new voices is always very fun, and I feel like having been able to contribute like topic ideas and being able to talk about things that I'm really, really passionate about, both in like a story writing medium and also in like in general in life, I feel like that's been one way that I've really felt I've been able to make something out of this.
I think it goes back to, you were talking with the others about the community that it is, and I feel like it has to do with that. I've formed a really, like, I want to say I've formed a friendship with all of you guys, and I've formed connections, and I want to keep those, and I really enjoy it. Like, the InkGuild podcasts and the chats we have afterwards are some of like the highlights of my weeks. Like, it's just a bright part of my life now.
In the near 2 years since the project began, the InkGuilds became something more precious to us than we first realized. We originally started with our own writing goals, focused on improving our craft, with some help every so often. But because of this project and the opportunities and connections it's established, our outlook on our careers and our friendship has changed.
Well, it's definitely a community. We've got enough members. I don't think we are classified as a village yet or a hamlet, but we're a community for sure. Yeah, I like how you put like, it's all about friendship, but we're also here to discuss the subject, because I've been in the chat long enough. I see all the meme threads we post, and it's great to be able to, you know, switch gears from being in the main chat where we're just sharing and goofing off to be able to jump in and discuss, you know, hard writing concepts and interests of more specific nature, and know that everyone's willing to do this and be on topic with you, even if on podcasts we can get a little crazy sometimes, herding cats and all that. And as a community, I think it's great. We're well formed. We've got our in-jokes and our ties together, and yeah, I think each member brings something very interesting and different to the whole spectrum, and it wouldn't be the same without everyone. And like, I'm sure there's other creative writing groups out there, but I don't think any are quite as zany as us.
We are a group of people, and that we don't just share similar hobbies, because while we all share the hobby of writing, we all write differently, so it's similar hobbies in my mind. But we are, it's going to sound really cheesy, but I feel like we're a found family to an extent. I feel that personally I am comfortable like reaching out and talking to you guys about my writing and about different things going on in my life, and the InkGuild has kind of, it's become that that group that I was looking for when I joined the Discord. Before joining this, writing was a side hobby. It was something I did when I had free time, but now that I am a part of this group, it's become, I have a larger focus on it. I put more effort into my writing because I want to impress you guys to an extent. I want to be able to be like, hey, I wrote this thing and I'm proud of it. Tell me what you think of it. And even if you tell me like it's shit, I'm gonna be like, okay, what can I do to fix this? And I am confident that like you'll tell me how I can fix this. You and the others will tell me like what are the good points in my writing and what I can do to fix the bad parts. I went for a while where I wasn't on a lot of the episodes after I joined up, and then I started going on more and more, and it's been the gradual build up of how like accepting everybody is, how welcoming everybody is in the group. Nobody was like, no, I never felt shut out, and yeah, everybody's just home, and the InkGuild is home.
I don't think this would be possible if we didn't get along. So, you know, having such a nice big friendship among all of us is really important. And it kind of like builds this sense of trust between us, I think, where we're comfortable sharing, sharing your art with people is very vulnerable. And so, especially when it's like in an incomplete form that you're not happy with, where you're like, how do I make this better? I feel like we wouldn't be able to do that if we didn't like trust each other, which I don't think we would be able to do if we weren't like friends, My goal is to just like be a voice, a perspective on writing, and to give people like, ideas about how you can do that, different ways to think about writing, because that's something that I think is really important, is to be able to hear different thoughts about it, to hear different like ideas, to hear different perspectives, because you need experience with a lot of different things to be a good writer, and you get that from listening to other people's experiences. And so I think the InkGuild is a good way for people to be able to like listen to the experiences and the perspectives and the ideas of a bunch of writers, and be able to, I think that's a good way for people to be able to start thinking about things in a different way than they have before, and to like expand their, I don't know what word I'm trying to say, expand their horizons, but like expand their way of thinking about things. And which I think that's important to be a writer, is to think about things in different ways.
I honestly think I feel sort of similar to how Tyler feels. I think it's really fucking cool that we have this online community of creative people. We're getting together and we're talking about our projects. We're coming up with ideas, and we're spitting facts. We're spitting ideas at each other. And all the while we're sort of developing this sort of like, it's like I feel like I'm saying a lot of filler words a lot, because I don't know if I believe in brands. I'm not a dog to the capitalist system. But maybe a commune or perhaps a non-violent military infrastructure of where a group of militant artists spreading our propaganda through non-violent and perhaps a little violent means. I think it's us, man. I think it's us. I think it's the people in it. I think it's the folks who are in this project. I feel like any collection of shitheads can get a microphone and babble nonsense into the fucking ether. But I think what makes the InkGuild special is that we got all these wacky motherfuckers in it. Can I swear in this interview? I feel like this is too late to ask. I feel like it's that sort of that we have this like. Yeah, like Marie-Soleil said, it's sort of a found family of potentially violent psychopaths who've been collected together and are instead putting our chemical-addled minds into our fiction writing, and we are now sharing it with each other and talking and communicating and marketing and branding, and we're gonna have advertising and merchandise. Maybe I'm going a little too far on that one, but besides those last two things, yeah, we're having this sort of like we're a found family of essentially freaks.
So I kind of forget sometimes that this all started because of a group of friends just wanted something to do over what was arguably a pretty terrible point in modern history. And like when I first started the project, and I don't want to claim all of the credit, but like when the idea was first coming into my head about like doing a podcast, it was, just something that like it was a chance for me to kind of stay fresh on my skills that I had learned throughout my degree, and like as a result, also just learn more about these people that I really wanted to like know and care about. And through 60 episodes of the InkGuild podcast, through tier list videos that aren't finished, through reading old story videos that are not finished as of this, and so many different projects such as a D&D stream, a holiday special, like more episodes of the podcasts, and really talking about everything, like not just relating to our writing, but showcasing who we are. I think that's what makes like the InkGuild a special platform for me. It is the fact that at some point, if it's only 100 people or 1,000 or 1,000,000, then someone out there will see everything that I see in my coworkers, in my friends. And more than anything else, in my current position as like the main host of the podcast and then as the like creative director, I'm hoping that everything that we put out from here on out and everything that we've put out since shows everybody who we are, what we can do, and what made us the way that we are. Because there really is nothing like us out there. And in strange twists of fate, just we all came together somehow. So we're gonna show the world what we got.
I feel like the InkGuild started out as just something to occupy our time during the lockdown, and now it's become a lot more than that. It's become a focal point. It's become a huge project that we are all putting in time and effort into. Like we're hosting episodes individually and everything. And something that I'm looking forward to is seeing how it's going to grow, seeing the next stages in it, because we've gone from talking about our writing and our old writing and going off about like our favorite authors and our favorite works to to videoing interviews and stuff. And we're going to be talking about doing live streams of D&D. Like, I want to see what the next growth from that is.
Well, the D&D stream I do think would be very fun to do. I'm looking forward to recording more episodes and like sharing more of our ideas and experiences. And I'm definitely excited to keep sharing like my stories and keep reading other people's stories and helping build those to be, you know, better stories.
The potential is massively multimedia, and obviously this is going to be one of our first like true video things, this interview, and that's really exciting for me, knowing that we can expand into videography and cinematography as well. Besides the podcast itself continuing on, I love the diversity that we can include in the type of projects we have. Like we've talked about InkGuild Presents and doing shorts. We've talked about doing a D&D stream, which I'm really excited about. Marie-Soleil can tell you I've already started doing some interesting planning and fun things like that, which we'll discuss later. And I'm really excited to see what more we can come up with. Short-term goals, like we have so many varied opinions and so many interesting ideas coming in from all over the place. Like we can build a big multimedia, just fun group out of this, whether it be videos, D&D, the podcast, written works. We touch on it all, and that's great. While also still keeping it mostly cohesive. I say mostly.
The goal for the InkGuild, I feel, is to I guess just like let people know that our art is here, and we're it's like it's sort of like just a very a much chiller and like less invasive way to market our writing. Like we're doing this fun chill podcast, and we're also letting you know, hey, we got books coming out. please buy them. I need food this month. We have a bunch of episodes that we've sort of talked about planning and doing, and I'm very excited for those. You know, I'm excited for just whatever's in store next. You know.
The Ink Guild, for all its responsibilities and accommodations, is a community of creative writers brought together by friendship. And that story is one that neither of us could have written alone.
Still recording?
On and off.
Okay.
So you've got like little bits and pieces of this?
Yeah.
Right on.
Your murder confession is on tape.
Yeah, it sure
My
is.
murder confession is on several tapes in a Swedish police station. It didn't make a lick of difference.